Well, some interesting thoughts here in Starship Merchants. Not spaceship, and not whatever. Yeah, it's the most unmemorable name I can think of. A new game when there are so many named similarly, hard to cope with. Okay, so those thoughts. Well, both blue and green moved into the shipyard. Neither one bought a ship. Why? Well, one, this is the expensive one, the bone. You're not getting the good deal here. Also, in particular for blue, this is bad because he's got two ones running. If he's pushing the ships forward, his ones are going to disappear, and that's going to hurt him more than it hurts everyone else. But he also doesn't have equipment. Everyone else has equipment on board their ships, which means they're somewhat invested. When their ship obsoletes, they have to pay something to reinvest that equipment into another ship, or do something else, or let it go, which is equally painful, I guess. Maybe more so because you spend an action as well as the cash to get something. But he's looking at, well, he wants this, and maybe he wants some additional refining capability. There's this sucker here for 14 bucks. He can really focus on the cinnamon sticks and probably make a pretty good money off of that. That's what he's looking at as his option. For green, not wanting to go, again, similar kind of thoughts, which is money. $6 to claim something, that only leaves 11. That would require a loan. He just paid off his loan. He has equipment, not a lot, just this claw, but would like to get some more. And it's kind of a, well, why take on the disadvantages of the third ship? You'll make more money, but why do that when you've got other things that'll make you more money? Maybe not as much more, but without taking on that disadvantage, especially when you're buying something that's just about, it's not just about obsolete, but it's at the edge of the value limits on there. Of course, that makes everyone else's investment in a Mark II more valuable, which is the problem that blue faces. Everyone else bought one, he didn't. So maybe, on the other hand, right after this, we start hitting the cheap Mark ones that are our Mark IIs that are the same price as the Mark ones. Tough calls there. Blue definitely is happy with their decision. Green a little less so, but they think they've got uses for their money. Purple made it into the business end here, and they bought themselves a claw. Their view on that is they're already hauling everything. They've got a claim and a claw. They might as well grab enough to get another haul in, especially since they might get stuff stolen. However, they didn't get stuff stolen by the one person who went into the belt, Red. Red used their scout. They picked up this, basically they went scouting with their 1 point scouting expenditure, right? And they found themselves a good ice, which is great. And they also then picked up a delivery which produces $6. That exposed an even better one for empty cargo, a $9 one, but that takes 5 energy to make. That's pretty expensive. There aren't many ships. The scouts can do this. Pick one thing up and grab an extra 9. You're not going to get 9 off of any of these commodities. So that's some serious smuggling going on there. Alright. Tough decisions to make in this game. Blue picks up the second cobalt mine. I had to look that up. I seem to remember something about not being able to get both. But it seems like you are able to hold as many of these as you like. And they're different. And he also started claiming his cinnamon sticks. Over to purple. Purple ran his ice load here. Looks like he had one stolen from him by red. Yeah, here. And that was the other thing red took, was the empty cargo hold here. But then red took their claimed ones on the second turn. That was earlier. Red took their claimed ones on the second turn and grab these suckers, and they also are adding just a base price to the extra total payout, something they can use energy to get some additions just because of their grants, or not grants, their gas tank. And then green over here did something kind of neat. They bought themselves a mining module over here. That gives them an extra hold. Now that's going to be tough to fill. This thing, he's only going to be able to fill from his own hand, basically, or whatever's out here. He just doesn't have much energy. But I got the claw over here. That's kind of expensive. I'm planning on hauling a lot of crap and seeing how that works out. Sometimes there'll be deliveries, not that I'll have the energy to pull them, that'll give you a big bonus for one of each. But it might be worth sticking around, you know, if it's like a $9-bucker like that one was. Red, I believe, ditched those, actually. And this is what we have standing here, just berries for sale everywhere, which is kind of cool for him. He's got berries available. It may not be there when he gets there, though. But he also chose to claim one of his little deuterium or whatever, and not the ice, which means the ice might very likely get stolen by the purple player. But that's okay. He thinks there'll be stuff out there he wants even more than the ice. Purple wants the ice real bad, that's great. Claiming this is not worth my time, although it might be worth the money right now for me. To deliver it, I get more of a bonus off this, and I want to build up a different portfolio and maybe get a bonus off that portfolio. Blue loads himself up, getting a bonus for not filling, for not using up all his energy. He's using up all his decks there. Purple, sorry. Fills up the rest of his stuff. I think he stole the ice from over there. He's just got too much of a bonus for delivering ice. He also has a bonus for delivering ice, which he added to his normal bonuses. Red made his delivery. Big money here. He had bonuses on both of these. He's doing pretty well here, 30-something bucks in deliveries. He's got no loans outstanding. Blue's in probably even better shape. It's beginning to look like somebody has to do something to shake things up, and that's going to mean buying the expensive thing they don't want to buy, probably. Although there are other options in this game. This isn't like 18XX, where there's nothing you can do to shake things up other than, you know, starting new companies so you can buy new trains, or just buying new trains outright. There are ways of modifying your income by playing with some of these extra tools. So you got more routes to play with, which makes it more confusing to me. Green moves into here. Now he has a troubling situation. He just barely filled this thing up, and this thing isn't too much better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's not going to have the extra energy to take some of this, and some of these are kind of nice for him. This one using the cinnamon, which he likely would have been delivering a good deal of, and there's more out here. He could pull that in, but he doesn't have the energy to make that extra hop. He's kind of hoping that gets swept aside or picked up by Blue, who may well want it. He's got some serious bonuses there. Blue ends up filling his hold. He's actually breaks even based on Hal here and these refineries. So he wanted to take more good mines and put them in his home area. If he can make the same money, he might as well get them not claimed, but closer to claimed, which is to say it costs other people more to take them at times. Over here, Purple made their run. They actually made quite a bit, 35 bucks. Nobody's really, they're not really feeling any great pressure to run into here. We'll see if somebody else is. This guy went in, said, I'm not buying a ship. I've got this bonus on equipment. I can buy stuff cheaper. I would rather not get the ships going. I would rather keep doing this with equipment, and maybe we'll never see the ships come out. And then finally over here with Green, they loaded up their last set. And they don't feel like they've got a good set here. They're carrying 3 goods per ship. They got a couple of nice claimed goods. but it only adds up to 15, 18, 24, 27. It's significantly less than what some of the people are pulling in. We don't know what blue's going to pull in yet. We could add that up. But he's seeing numbers in the 35s. He feels like he's falling behind. Maybe it's up to him to buy that next ship. That will bring out other ships, and he's already heavily invested in equipment. But he's got to do something to move these things, and he's not seeing. It's mainly the mines. He hasn't done well with the mines. He hasn't done well with coordinating them with what he's got. But he also doesn't have this good outlay in terms of the energy to the storage capacity that he has on his ships. There's a gas tank out here if he can get up there, but that'll probably be gone by the time he gets there. Alright, whipping around again. Blue made their sale. Not as high as I thought, around 32. They're still behind everyone else. And they're a possibility then to buy that extra ship, to try to push things over. They've got their mines. They got the purchase last time. This time, maybe they'll do it to try to shake things up a little bit more. They're pretty happy with the setup they have, and they think they can keep improving it. They want to make sure they have money for claims. That's one big thing. They also want to make sure they have a lot of space on their ships. Right now, they're only carrying 1, 2, 3 holds. That can't be right, because I have 4 things here. I must not have delivered something. Maybe I hauled too much on them somehow. That would be cheating. 8 and 7 is 15. And 9 is 24. Wow. I don't think I could deliver all that crap. And I seem to remember, that may have been greens, but yeah, I think I delivered too much stuff. 8 and 7 is 15, 20, 32. Yeah. I must have hauled an extra thing. Let me flush one of these and lose them $6. So they're really doing quite poorly. They need more space on their ships. And upgrading Mark 1 ships is probably not going to do it. So they may buy a Mark 2 and then stick around and buy another Mark 2. That is fairly cheap. They're allowed to have 4 ships as long as Mark II's the big one. We got a ship maximum for each period, just like in an XX game. Okay, so they made significantly less than I thought they were. I had them overloaded and cheating them. What did Purple do? Purple moved up. They didn't buy the ship, yeah. Red moved into place. They bought themselves another mining module. This thing had a little bit more speed and ability than it needed. It did a lot of exploration. I don't think I really need to do that. I know I have that on board. But when I've got this cheap advantage, I might as well make use of it. The other option, of course, was to build a refinery, but I don't feel like I have. This is part of the reason I don't want to buy a ship, too. I don't feel like I have a lot of claims, asteroids available to me. Certainly not claimed ones. So it's kind of hard to gear up until there's a big pool of unused stuff kicking around. Now, this is not bad, but it'll be somewhat problematic, and you don't know if you're going to get it or not. And green collected their money. We already calculated that around 27. Go around at least once more. Get us into the belt before loading this one up. Alright, well, I screwed up. I found buried at the bottom of the M2s, or in the M2s, because of the lower price ones in M1. They're the same price as the M2 cheap ones. I just discarded it from the game and said, hey, the hell with that. So if you're the kind of person who insists, hey, it's got to be played absolutely according. I don't know enough that my strategy is going to be that properly aligned anyhow. When I set up, I screwed up. And when things look alike, shit like that's going to happen to me. And it is very difficult for me to tell the M1s, M2s, and M3s apart. They just, but I can't tell by the M number. That doesn't seem apparent to me. What I do see is the price, because everything else looks exactly the same on the ships. Maybe not the picture. The picture, I bet, looks different. These guys definitely look a little different from the later ones, but hey, whatever. All right, so that skewed things a little bit, but Blue went in and bought, saying they got to shake things up. So they've got an M2 tug now. Well, Purple was sitting here. They passed. They could have bought it one last turn, but they passed a turn instead for the $10. That may not be a great idea, but they want more capacity. They want one of these cheap tugs. They went for it. Going over to green, they moved in and bought up nothing. They did not buy one. They should have. Oh, gods. I'm sorry, this is red. It looks like everybody's together, so I think, yeah, red did not buy one. They went into the belt and grabbed a couple of ice and an ice delivery. They also have room for this, so they were able to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, fill this up real quick and easy. They didn't use the Explorer module, but that's okay. You don't have to use all your equipment every time. They only paid, what, $1 for that thing. They got to use it once. That may be enough. Then green did buy another tug, and they're looking to expand their capacity as well. All right, we'll load this one up. This may be it for the night. I'm not sure. Just catch up on it next time. Next time somebody buys a ship, though, that will destroy all the Mark 1s. And that's the problem for Blue here. They may not gain much capacity by having this. They end up breaking even, and then they have to pay to move Hal, who they may not want. It looks like capacity is an issue for him, so ditching him might not be a bad idea. Or they could put him aside and use him on another ship. Other people definitely have stuff on their Mark 1s. Here's the gas tank that would have to be moved. Over here, gas tank has to be moved. Over here, an extra, an extra hull on an extra hold on a M1 on a tug. And here the claw. All right, well, I'll load this one up.